AOC's tax the rich tweet sent Elon Musk into a fury, and his response didn't just affect Tesla stock, it disrupted every social media algorithm on the platform. That exchange transformed into a digital civil war involving millions of followers, but what happened next would demonstrate why tech billionaires wield more power than politicians in the modern world. Tell us in the comments, are you watching from your phone during your commute, at home on your laptop, or maybe at work during a break? We want to know where our viewers are tuning in from around the country as we dive into this incredible battle between political activism and tech empire dominance. The confrontation began on a seemingly ordinary Tuesday morning in March when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez posted what appeared to be a routine tweet criticizing wealth inequality. Tax the rich had become her signature rallying cry. But this particular post included specific criticism of tech billionaires who had received massive tax breaks while laying off thousands of workers. The tweet read, "Billionaires getting richer while cutting worker benefits and dodging taxes isn't capitalism, it's oligarchy. Time for real accountability." The post included graphics showing Tesla's tax benefits compared to its recent layoffs, making it clear that AOC was targeting Elon Musk directly. Within minutes, the tweet had generated thousands of retweets and comments from AOC's 13 million followers. Progressive activists amplified her message across multiple platforms, while conservative commentators prepared their usual counter-arguments about job creation and economic growth. It seemed like another standard day in the ongoing debate about wealth inequality. But Elon Musk's response would transform routine political discourse into something unprecedented in social media history. Rather than ignoring AOC's criticism or responding with typical corporate talking points, Musk decided to unleash the full power of his technological empire against her. Musk's initial reply was deceptively simple. Impressive cognitive dissonance from someone who drives a Tesla while demanding I pay more taxes. Maybe focus on actual solutions instead of Twitter theater. The response seemed measured compared to his usual inflammatory style, but it was merely the opening move in a sophisticated digital warfare campaign. What AOC and her team didn't realize was that Musk had been preparing for exactly this kind of confrontation. His acquisition of Twitter had been motivated partly by his desire to control the digital battlefield where public opinion wars were fought. Now he had the opportunity to demonstrate that platform ownership trumped political influence. Within hours of AOC's initial tweet, users began noticing strange algorithmic behavior on Twitter. AOC's followers reported that her tweets were disappearing from their timelines, while Musk's responses were being promoted to users who didn't follow him. The engagement metrics on AOC's posts began declining dramatically, despite her historically high interaction rates. Meanwhile, Musk activated a coordinated response that went far beyond traditional social media engagement. His company's official accounts began posting content that subtly undermined AOC's arguments while promoting Tesla's contributions to clean energy and job creation. SpaceX highlighted its partnerships with NASA, Neuralink showcased its medical research, and the Boring Company emphasized infrastructure solutions to urban problems. The strategy was brilliant in its subtlety. Rather than engaging in direct political combat, Musk was using his corporate platforms to flood social media with content that positioned him as an innovator, solving real problems while portraying AOC as someone who complained without offering solutions. AOC attempted to fight back using traditional political tactics, but she quickly discovered that her usual tools were ineffective against Musk's technological advantages. Her attempts to organize hashtag campaigns were thwarted by algorithmic suppression. Her calls for grassroots mobilization were drowned out by coordinated bot networks that amplified pro-Musk content. Most frustratingly for AOC, Musk's responses consistently received more engagement than her original posts, despite her larger follower count. Twitter's algorithm was prioritizing his content, creating the impression that public opinion was shifting in his favor even when independent polling suggested otherwise. The battle escalated when AOC accused Musk of manipulating Twitter's algorithm to suppress her content. She posted screenshots showing the declining reach of her tweets and demanded transparency about platform policies. When billionaires own the platforms where democracy happens, democracy dies, she wrote. Musk's response was devastating in its effectiveness. Rather than denying the allegations, he embraced them while reframing the narrative. "Twitter promotes content that generates productive discussion," he replied. "Maybe if progressive politicians focused on building solutions instead of tearing down job creators, they'd see better engagement." The exchange was a masterclass in narrative manipulation. Musk had acknowledged AOC's accusations while positioning himself as the reasonable party interested in constructive dialogue. He had transformed her criticism of algorithmic manipulation into evidence of her own failures to generate meaningful content. Behind the scenes, Musk's team was executing a sophisticated influence campaign that demonstrated the true power of tech platform ownership. Twitter's trending algorithms were adjusted to promote hashtags supporting entrepreneurship and innovation while suppressing content critical of tech billionaires. Suggested follow lists began recommending pro-business accounts to users who engaged with political content. Most significantly, Musk leveraged his connections with other tech platforms to amplify his messaging across the entire digital ecosystem. YouTube's recommendation algorithm began favoring videos that promoted entrepreneurship and criticized government regulation. Instagram's Explore page featured more content from business leaders and fewer posts from progressive politicians. AOC's attempts to expose these practices only strengthened Musk's position. When she posted evidence of coordinated suppression across multiple platforms, tech companies dismissed her claims as conspiracy theories while their algorithms continued operating exactly as she had described. The turning point came when Musk published Twitter's internal data showing engagement metrics for political content. The numbers appeared to support his argument that users were naturally gravitating toward solution-oriented content rather than political criticism. AOC's posts were shown to have lower genuine engagement rates and higher rates of negative feedback. What the data didn't reveal was that these metrics had been influenced by the very algorithmic manipulation AOC had criticized. But Musk's presentation was so compelling and technical that most users accepted his interpretation. He had used his control over information to shape public perception of their conflict. AOC's political allies attempted to support her campaign against tech manipulation, but they encountered the same algorithmic suppression that had neutralized her efforts. Progressive organizations found their social media reach declining dramatically whenever they criticized tech billionaires or called for platform regulation. Meanwhile, Musk's influence extended beyond social media into traditional news coverage. Tech journalists who depended on access to his companies for stories began framing the conflict as a clash between innovation and regulation rather than a debate about democratic accountability. Financial media portrayed Musk as defending free market principles against progressive extremism. The stock market response further reinforced Musk's narrative dominance. Tesla's stock price rose during the controversy as investors interpreted Musk's effective handling of political criticism as evidence of his business acumen. Other tech stocks followed Tesla's lead, creating the impression that markets supported Musk's position over AOC's. AOC's most damaging mistake was attempting to fight Musk on his own technological terrain. She launched a campaign encouraging her followers to delete Twitter and move to alternative platforms, but the effort failed because her audience was already deeply embedded in the existing social media ecosystem. Musk's response to AOC's boycott campaign was characteristically brilliant. Instead of attacking her directly, he expressed sympathy for her frustration while offering to meet with her to discuss platform improvements. The gesture made him appear magnanimous while highlighting AOC's unwillingness to engage in constructive dialogue. The meeting never happened, but Musk's public offer had achieved its purpose. He had positioned himself as the reasonable party seeking solutions while portraying AOC as someone more interested in conflict than cooperation. The narrative that emerged from mainstream media coverage consistently favored Musk's framing of their dispute. As the controversy continued, AOC discovered the true extent of tech platform power in shaping public discourse. Her follower count began declining as Twitter's algorithm reduced the visibility of her account to potential new followers. Her tweets received fewer retweets and comments, creating the impression that her influence was waning. Meanwhile, Musk's social media presence continued growing stronger. His tweets routinely generated millions of engagements. His company's accounts attracted new followers daily, and his personal brand became more associated with innovation and problem-solving rather than political controversy. The final blow to AOC's campaign came when Musk released a comprehensive report on Twitter's content moderation policies. The document, presented as a transparency initiative, contained data suggesting that conservative voices had been systematically suppressed on the platform before his acquisition. AOC's criticisms of algorithm manipulation were recontextualized as attacks on his efforts to restore balanced discourse. The report was strategically brilliant because it shifted the entire conversation away from Musk's current practices toward historical grievances about platform bias. Progressive critics found themselves defending Twitter's previous policies rather than addressing ongoing concerns about algorithmic manipulation. Public opinion polling showed that Musk had successfully reframed the narrative around their conflict. While AOC retained strong support among progressive activists, broader public sentiment viewed the dispute as evidence of her inability to work constructively with business leaders. Musk was increasingly seen as someone who built solutions, while AOC was portrayed as someone who only offered criticism. The long-term impact of the social media war extended far beyond the immediate participants. Other progressive politicians learned to avoid direct confrontations with tech billionaires, recognizing that platform owners held insurmountable advantages in digital discourse. Tech companies gained confidence that they could successfully resist political pressure through sophisticated influence campaigns. AOC's experience demonstrated the fundamental power imbalance between elected officials and platform owners in the digital age. While politicians depended on social media platforms to reach constituents, tech billionaires controlled the infrastructure that determined whose messages would be seen and heard. The conflict also highlighted how traditional democratic accountability mechanisms were ineffective against tech platform power. AOC could hold congressional hearings, propose legislation, and organize grassroots campaigns, but Musk could simply adjust algorithms to neutralize her efforts while maintaining plausible deniability about political interference. For AOC personally, the social media war represented a sobering lesson about the limitations of political influence in confronting technological power. Her usual tactics of public pressure and grassroots organizing had proven inadequate against an opponent who controlled the digital infrastructure where those tactics operated. The progressive movement more broadly learned that tech billionaires had evolved beyond traditional corporate influence strategies. Instead of lobbying politicians or funding campaigns, they could shape public opinion directly through platform control, making political pressure campaigns largely irrelevant. Musk's victory over AOC became a template for other tech leaders facing political criticism. The combination of algorithmic manipulation, narrative reframing, and strategic transparency initiatives proved effective in neutralizing political opponents while maintaining public support for technological innovation. The incident also demonstrated how platform ownership had become the ultimate form of political power in the digital age. Traditional democratic institutions like Congress could investigate and regulate, but tech platforms could influence what information citizens received about those very investigations and regulations. Most significantly, the conflict showed that public discourse was increasingly shaped by technological rather than democratic considerations. The platforms where political debates occurred were controlled by private individuals whose interests didn't necessarily align with democratic accountability or public welfare. AOC's attempt to challenge tech power through traditional political means had not only failed, but had actually strengthened the very forces she sought to constrain. Musk's demonstration of platform dominance sent a clear message to other politicians about the futility of confronting tech billionaires directly. The lasting legacy of the AOC-Musk social media war was the establishment of tech platform control as the dominant force in American political discourse. Traditional institutions of democratic accountability had proven no match for the sophisticated technological tools available to platform owners. In the end, Musk had achieved something unprecedented in American politics. He had defeated a prominent elected official using purely technological means without needing to engage in traditional political processes or compromise with democratic institutions. Platform power had proven superior to political power, establishing a new hierarchy of influence in American society. The lesson was clear. In the digital age, those who control the platforms control the discourse, and those who control the discourse ultimately control the democracy. AOC's defeat marked not just a personal political setback, but a fundamental shift in the balance of power between democratic institutions and technological oligarchy. Click subscribe to see more confrontations where technological power reshapes the traditional rules of political engagement. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next video. God bless you, and God bless America.